Dialogue for Europe is a Brussels-based think tank, which is the lead applicant right now in an EU-funded project on strengthening dialogue between civil societies in the area of migration and security between the EU and Turkey. So we are leading this project, which has three important legs. It's going to happen. The civil society dialogue activities are right now taking place in Brussels. We have Turkish delegates visiting Brussels. We had several meetings in the European Parliament, in the European External Action Service, in the DG Home and DG NEAR of the European Commission, and we had a conference at the Press Club today, and having another one at Freie Universität Brussels on Friday. So this will contribute to the cooperation between Turkey and EU, especially in the civil society sector. And we are focusing on migration and security because we think these are the most urgent areas to increase cooperation given conflict and war and recent developments in Syria and Afghanistan. And this, in the coming days, it will become a bigger challenge. So, of course, cooperation between EU and Turkey is not only limited to dialogue in migration or security. We have still a negotiation process going on, and there are 35 different negotiation chapters, including dialogue in climate change or even different areas like foreign policy. But what we are aiming actually is that we try to have a coordinated approach between migration policies, foreign policies, defense policies, and development policies. Because if there is more alignment between legislation in Turkey and in the EU, I think we'll have better cooperation mechanisms and we'll be able to tackle crisis situations such as the one in Syria and Afghanistan. And right now we are facing probably another refugee influx, maybe not as big as the 2015 migration crisis, but still an important one. And we'll have, like, Turkey and the EU, notwithstanding the political differences, notwithstanding their disagreements on many issues, they'll have to cooperate as neighbors.
How would you describe relations at this moment, and how important is it to have civil society involved in this discussion?
We think the civil society dialogue is essential for advancing relations between the EU and Turkey. As we said, we had a very non-partisan approach. Of course, there are problems from both sides, there are frustrations from both sides, but this doesn't mean that they just become frenemies. And the point here is to have a peaceful relationship and to think about their common interests and their common concerns. And also to have better lives for refugees and migrants, of course, like both in Turkey and in the EU, because Turkey is right now a receiving country. Like, they have about 5 million refugees, and the EU cooperation with the EU is important for the integration of these refugees, for their schooling, for their life conditions, for their jobs. So not only we shouldn't think about the refugee camps, we should think about durable solutions. So a better integration of these refugees and migrants in their host countries, in Turkey and in the EU.
The situation of Afghan refugees in Turkey is one of ambiguity, in the sense that on one side, the EU has provided an enormous amount of financing through tools and cooperation instruments with Turkey, namely the 6 billion euros, which have been allocated as part of the 2016 migration deal, and now under the new budget of the multi-annual financial framework, another 126 million are also being allocated, known as FRIT. That money goes towards education, and it also goes towards healthcare assistance, employment support, and many other types of what one would call welfare for these vulnerable communities, assistance provided by the EU and Turkey. However, on the other hand, it goes without doubt that these communities are the most vulnerable communities within Turkey. Many suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder. children and women remain the most vulnerable, and there's also new arrivals which may be difficult for Turkey to be able to support in the future. And that's one of the reasons for why the migration deal and continued cooperation and also supplementary development support to the countries which are in need is so essential and important.
What else can the EU do?
The EU, number one, can and should continue the development of supporting FRIT and all the support for migration management in cooperation with Turkey. And then secondly, what is I think a very, very important recommendation in our study as well, is that the EU and Turkey cooperate on the root causes of migration. These internally and externally displaced people are often victims of violence and of humanitarian disaster and of different other humanitarian and difficult conditions which make them migrate. In order to tackle that issue, one has to go to the root. So the EU and Turkey should cooperate on, for example, development coordination and other types of foreign and security cooperation in order to tackle the problem at the root, which namely is conflict areas like Afghanistan.
How important is Turkey to the EU as a partner in security?
Well, it is of course very important as a security partner. Just one example is, I mean, the Turkish army that is going to, let's say, defend the airport in Kabul in Afghanistan, because actually no European army is right now capable of doing it, or willing even to do it. So is it just one example that for us in the entire region, be it the Middle East, be it also Central Asia, Turkey is an essential partner. And if we look at the broader picture and we look about Russia, we look China, we look Iran, also India, I mean, I think what is going on there is that the dichotomy between Europe and these countries is increasing. So the gaps politically are increasing. So do we want Turkey to be with us or against us? So at this time they're with us in many ways. So I think for the future it will be important for every one of us that stays at least the same way.
Do you think that we can have a better relationship with Turkey whilst Erdogan is still president?
I think the biggest problem of President Erdogan is the fact that he's unpredictable. So the one day he is shouting at Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, and the other way he's saying we should have more cooperation with Europe. And this unpredictability is something that politicians in general, but certainly European politicians, don't like to deal with. So that's a problem. I mean, if Erdogan would be in the next years taking the same line on Europe, and Europe would also take the same line, because we have to say Europe is not doing the same thing either, then I think we can build something better. If that's not possible, I think we probably have to wait for the next leadership in order to restart a positive relationship with Turkey.
How important is it for the EU and Turkey to continue talking and strengthen their relationship, particularly on migration and security?
Well, I think that the two sides have enormous interests in common. We have a very long-standing relationship. You know, Turkey has been an associate of the European Union for almost 50 years now, and has been candidate to accede for 22 years now, since 1999, and we have a working customs union between Turkey and the European Union. Turkey is the only non-member state of the European Union to have a customs union with the European Union, and so the degree of integration is quite considerable, and that shows that there are enormous interests that the two sides have in common, but in the last few years, developing and deepening this relationship has been a bit difficult owing to political reasons. The Cyprus problem has, particularly since the accession of Cyprus to the European Union, constituted a major source of blockage in the negotiations on accession, in the negotiations on deepening the customs union, and everything else. And so now we face a situation where basically migration, which is a common challenge, is about the only area where the two sides are working together. Everything else is at a standstill. Accession negotiations, customs union modernization negotiations, everything else is, all these things are at a standstill. So we only talk about migration, and because that is a very important common challenge, but that in itself shows that the two sides really need each other. You know, there are lots of frustrations with regard to the implementation of agreements that were completed in 2015-16. But I hope that these problems in the implementation of these agreements can be sorted out with political will on both sides.
On the EU side, where do you think more action could be taken? You've said already that enlargement seems to be at an impasse on many fronts, not just with Turkey. But is there anything else that can be done to improve relations?
I think that the most important thing that the European Union can do is to change the rhetoric. And that rhetoric is not directed just at Turkey, but also the Western Balkans. But they were unable to agree to give an accession perspective to the small, in some cases very small, Western Balkan countries, one of which has been negotiating for 15 years. Another one has been waiting to start negotiations for 15 years. And that, to my mind, you know, is not in the interests of the European Union. Because other countries can fill in the void left by the European Union in the Balkans, but also in Turkey, I have to say, because Turkey is also in the same situation as the Western Balkan countries. So what you need to do is change the mindset in Europe, change the rhetoric, and start seeing that you know, it is in the interests of Europe, of the European Union, to integrate all of these countries, or at least give them a clear perspective of integration, which has not been done, you know, for years and years now.